Okay, so unfortunately what I knew would happen is happening, and it's only the first day. Before getting into the details, I'd like to mention a detail first. It's Ukrainians on a very tiny island called Snake Island, and a Russian boat pulled up. Of course, Ukraine has been completely invaded. They're in full all-out war in Ukraine. And the Russian boat told the people on Snake Island to surrender. And the Ukrainians on that island, I don't know the exact words that they said to the Russians on the boat, but they said something like "Nahuy blyat" or "Yob tvayu." I don't want to translate that from Russian into English. They're not good words. And the Russians opened fire on them and killed everybody on the island. Here's what's going to happen before getting into what's happened just the past 24 hours. 100% unquestionable, undeniable. Russia is going to absolutely, completely decapitate the entire current government of Ukraine. Current president of Ukraine has said, these are his words, that hit squads are already out searching for him. All of Kyiv has been completely encircled, and Kyiv is going to be completely cut off within 48 hours or less. The entire country, this is my conclusion, the entire country should essentially, not that there wouldn't be pockets of resistance here or there, obviously so, the entire country of Ukraine should fall to Russian forces within about a week, if not less, actually. Currently, there's over 140 Ukrainians dead. From all accounts, and this is completely unknown, there are more than that of Russian soldiers dead. I've looked at so many countless videos, like individual videos made by individuals, not from news media companies. They're either in Ukrainian or in Russian. Oddly enough, most of the videos, it's almost humorous, but it's not humorous, it's horrible. And a great number of these videos have something to the effect of "Вот это пиздец, смотри на это пиздец." I don't want to translate that word, it's also and it's the English equivalent is like "what the bleep." It actually means something a lot deeper than that. It's untranslatable. Like, oh yeah, what the pizdец. Just cruise missiles. Hundreds of cruise missiles have come in from Russia. I'm not taking any sides on this, by the way. I'm not interested in I got Russian friends, Ukrainian friends. I get along great with both of them. Russians generally love me. I get along great with Russians, by the way. I lived in Russia for quite a long time. I've been to Ukraine several times. The only thing actually shocking to me about all of this, and I'm talking about the internet, not your comments, although there were a lot of your folks' comments the same. On the internet, it's like, why is Putin doing this? Why? I know exactly why he's doing it. Ukraine to Russia is, their missing leg. Actually, it's like they're missing both their legs. I mean, they want it back. They've wanted it back ever since the fall of the Soviet Union. A lot of people are blaming this on NATO, and NATO actually does not have that much to do with it. You could disagree with me all you want, but you'd be wrong. Russia, I knew, hell or high water, Russia was going to get Ukraine back. I knew it. A whole lot more people are going to die before this is over. How do I know that? I mean, is that pure speculation? No, it's not, because the Ukrainians themselves said that they would fight tooth and nail. Ukraine is actually passing out weapons to all Ukrainian veterans. There's been a new order as of just a few hours ago from the president of Ukraine that no man from like age 16 to 64 is allowed to flee, head to the countryside or a lot of Ukrainians are fleeing, trying to, but the Poland's not letting them in. Not allowed to flee, they're supposed to stay and fight. There have been tons of airstrikes by Russia in the first few hours, which I knew is exactly what happened. There have been dozens and dozens of tanks destroyed. By all accounts, by the Javelin rockets that the United States gave Ukraine. Many choppers have been taken down from Stinger missiles. Also, at least 2 fighter aircraft, if not more, from Stingers, which of course we also gave Ukraine. The roads are clogged. There's countless video evidences of this from countless sources where people are fleeing to the countryside. Also, too, at the border of Poland, mostly Poland, but they're not being let in from all accounts. Many thousands of Ukrainians are hiding for safety in the very, very deep subways of Kiev. Ukraine is captured, and there are many photographic evidences of this, many dozens, if not more, Russian soldiers. This is only the first day. It's going to get a whole lot more hot and a whole lot more kinetic. It's undeniably 100%. The capital Kiev is essentially nearly entirely surrounded. The capital will fall within 48 hours or less. I could be off by a dozen or so hours. The entire country of Ukraine will fall essentially within a week, and 100%, 1,000% undeniability. Russia is going to be completely and utterly decapitating the entire government of Ukraine. No ifs, ands, or buts, flat out, period. Absolutno. It's terrible. All these, people are dying. I'm not interested in taking anybody's side on this. Like I said, I lived in Russia for quite a long while. I love you Ukrainians. Most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life is in just south of Simferopol, Fantasy Forest, just north of Yalta. As the Russians would call it, what would be the perfect Russian word for it? It would be "охуительный." I mean, it just means bleeping beautiful. It's just gorgeous. So here's something else, and this is something you're not going to hear on the news. There's certain things that I track about what happens in world events. By the way, if you think, well, I don't give a damn, there are people out there, plenty of, especially Americans, Europeans don't think that way, because Europeans are really sucking at the proverbial nip of Russia when it comes to oil and natural gas, especially Deutschland. And, because America and NATO are doing some near kinetic stuff, and nobody really is under the delusion that any troops of NATO or the United States are going to enter this. But I mean, it's, what is this DEFCON? DEFCON 5 is absolute peace. DEFCON 1 is, global war. And it's definitely gone, not literally, but I mean, you're talking DEFCON 4 at least. It's definitely jumped down a notch. There's too much kinetic stuff being done by, it's going to happen. There's nothing, NATO or the United States are willing to do, but there's thousands. I know more people are being deployed now to Germany. Thousands and thousands more are being deployed to U.S. bases in Germany. Everybody actually should have a few $100s on hand if there's actually a cyber attacks in the United States, which is very highly probable. I'm not saying it will be, but it's a definite probability. Then you need to have cash on hand to buy gas and food. But the enormous amount of Americans that think, I don't care about Ukraine, that's the other side of the earth, don't give a damn. Well, here in about a week or so, when gas prices scare you, you will give a darn. And when those gas prices affect food prices, you also too give a darn. And a lot of that could be curtailed by the United States government by removing gas taxes and opening up petroleum reserves, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not interested in taking anybody's side on this. I told you this was coming for weeks. A lot of people told me it's never going to happen. It's like, no, it is going to happen. And then when they rolled into eastern Ukraine, the mostly Russian ethnic territories of Ukraine, it's like, it's like, no, it's going to get hot and kinetic, meaning very dangerous, with stuff dropping from the sky, with great horrific effects, and that's exactly what happened. I knew it was coming. Sure as the sun rises in the east, Russia was going to get Ukraine back. I don't care what your position on that is. I'm not giving my position on it. Sure as the sun rises in the east, I knew for certain Russia was going to get Ukraine back. 25% of the world's topsoil, breadbasket of Russia that feeds Russia, used to anyway, it's бывшего Советского Союза. Strategic location against Europe, strategic seaports, just on and on and on and on and on. It would be kind of like Ukraine is to Russia, the бывшего Советского Союза, like Florida and California are to the United States, because Florida and California are the beautiful places that are strategic, and they have enormous amount of food production, and just the list goes on and on. That's still an incomplete comparison. It'd be way more than Florida and Texas. You know, think of, I don't know, what else's state is just absolutely vital? What other state is absolutely, definitively vital? All of Texas. Ukraine is to the former Soviet Union, i.e. Russia, as Florida, Texas, and California combined. It's like, yeah, we can't have that. We're going to get it back. And so I knew this was coming. You know, sorry to hear about all the Ukrainians and Russians that have lost their lives over this, but it is technically less, as I make this video, technically only 22 hours since it started. It's going to get a lot more kinetic, a lot more dangerous, and a lot more lives are going to be lost. With absolute certainty, and the entire government is going to be cut off, you know, right here. Like Marie Antoinette right at the neck. You know, the head's going to go there, and the body's going to go there, and it's going to be the end of it. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Gonna happen. There's not going to be, you know, concessions or, you know, half and half, and, you know, it's not going to happen. It's going to be, the head is going to be removed from the body as far as the government is concerned in Ukraine. I'm not taking any positions on this. I'm just stating that's exactly what's going to freaking happen. Anyway, большое вам спасибо, и увидимся, to the Russian folks, and also to the Ukrainians. You know, I'm on both your sides. I actually get along great with both. I'd love to go back to Russia and Ukraine. It's too expensive, and way too expensive. Now, not that expensive to get there, but, you know, I spent endless months, you know, in Russia. I didn't get into that stuff, but best wishes out to both the Russians and the Ukrainians. And there would be, here's a fact though, and this is not taking sides. I'm remiss to say this, but it is undeniable. The fact, and there's countless thousands and thousands of pictures of this on the internet, the fact that the United States sent over plane load after plane load after plane load after plane load of Javelin missiles, which are anti-tank kinetics. They're very, very wicked. Ukraine was going to be, the government's going to be decapitated regardless. But the fact that the United States, we gave Ukrainians just enormous amounts of these javelins and stingers. The stingers are unknown, but the pictures of the javelins are just, there's just video, it's all over. Just the fact that we did that, that means that the Ukrainians are, you know, destroying a lot of Russian tanks. You know, they have people inside them, in case you didn't know. Since Ukraine was going to fall either way, and I know the Russian people quite well, that's going to piss the Russians off. Like, you know, imagine this is a hornet's nest. You come up, you know, like a dumb kid, they come up with a stick, you know, the old story about sticks, kids hitting a hornet's nest, you know, and then the hornets fly out and sting the piss out of the kid. All of those tanks destroyed. And I'm not saying the Ukrainians, you know, from their position shouldn't defend themselves. I don't take any position on that one way or the other. But the fact that they're doing that, and I'm not a pacifist by any means, means that retaliation will be more harsh, undeniably so, from the Russians, you know, than if Ukraine just folded up like a cheap card table, like fast. And I'm not a pacifist. Things here in America, when this started about 24 hours ago, I watch Freedom Seeds online. I watch it like twice a day. I don't know if you know what Freedom Seeds are. I'll let you take a guess. Made out of brass, lead, and copper with a propellant. And here in the United States, the first thing that happened is the price on all the primary ones, 308, 762 by 39, it skyrocketed. Yeah, and then as more Americans became aware of it, everything, even though the price skyrocketed, everything vanished. It was all bought up. Shoop, gone. Over with. Bye-bye. That's something that none of these news corps will tell you. So Americans do watch that stuff and they respond. So that's what happened here in the United States. Other things happened too on what Americans bought, but that's not directly relevant to Ukraine and Russia. So anyway, увидимся. Большое вам и спасибо. Настоящие крепкие народы, вот, украинские люди и русские народы. Пока. Жалко. Жалко, жалко, жалко. Translate that from Russian.